Hello, Saints. Not the match we wanted, but definitely an improved result. Yeah, I'm going to go through some of the stats. I'm going to have maybe a little bit of a rant, probably not like last week, probably not as angry. We did put up a bit better of an effort. But yeah, let's kind of get into it. So to start things off, I'm just going to pull up the stats for everybody to see. So give me a moment. I've got this on my side screen. But otherwise, jump in the chat. I'll be sharing the link in a second, and we'll get into it. But yeah, I guess I want to start off with just some obvious notes. I think there was an improvement there. I think as general, Collingwood were likely to win, but I think, we definitely didn't put up the same sort of performance as last week, which was good to see. Obviously not the result we wanted, but we'll take improvements for now. So let's start off with the team stats really quickly. I'm going to share screen, and then we will get into things pretty quickly after that. So I'll just make sure that's all looking good there. All right, so let's see if we can even do, will that work? Yeah, that'll work. All right, cool. So basic level stuff, not too bad. Inside 50s, we had a slight improvement. We also gave up more than the opposition's average again, which is a bit frustrating. Otherwise, disposal wasn't too bad. Efficiency inside 50 is, again, what's hurting in a lot of regards. And then, we've got, what else have we got? We've got all this sort of centre clearance stuff. Not too bad. Clearances in general look good. Stoppages was particularly good tonight. But we get to kind of the similar problem as a few weeks now, possession. Just overall, we're not holding it as much as our opponent, and they get the opportunity to jump us, which is, kind of been a similar sort of theme for a while. Give me a second, mate. I'll get that link in for you, and we'll get this going. And there we go. So that should get you guys in there. How lucky weren't so lucky tonight, were we? I'm terrible with it. Otherwise, let's kind of get back to some of this. Go over the basics again. Marks we lost. Marks inside 50 was, half the reason we lost. Contested marks again, we're struggling to just outdo our opponent. And then, just time in front. We got a little lead at the front there, which was nice to see. I thought, geez, we might be on here. And there was moments throughout the game as well where we definitely looked not bad, like in general parts. 1%ers were up, which is good to see. Didn't get as many running bounces as we'd like. Naz couldn't quite get off the leash despite getting 35 tackles. And we'll go into player stats very quickly. So we've got player stats here. We'll go general. We'll just go the Saints for now. And then, kind of go over the basics here. Naz obviously stood out. McRae, I think, played quite a match. He got the 10 clearances. Rowan Marshall had moments where he looked quite good, but I think he was beaten generally. Wilkie looked all right. Brad Hill had moments of looking pretty reasonable. And then a couple of moments where he was frustrating, obviously. So I think that might just be what we get from Brad going forward. It seems to be what we're getting from a lot of our outside runner types. Otherwise, jump in. Feel free to get it going, and we'll start having a bit of a chin wag. I'm going to keep quickly going on while we're still waiting for people to jump in. Caminiti had a frustrating moment at the end there. Was a bit annoying to see. Particularly, I didn't love seeing Naz go off at him for that intercept, or at least trying to. I thought Darcy Wilson played quite well. He had a few forays inside 50 that were good, got a goal assist. If we quickly check the goal assist, Wood was one of the best with Cooper Sharman and Jack Higgins as well, but we didn't get much of a split there, which is kind of where there's a few areas where we saw problems tonight. Nowhere near as bad as the past, though, so I think we can all take a little bit of solace there. Windy looked good on Nick Dacos. Again, didn't get a ton of disposals himself, but from memory, he kept Nick to about 30, which, could have been a lot worse if we didn't put anybody on him. So I think it's worth pursuing that sort of result. Otherwise, if we quickly look at some opposition, we did get a little bit torn up through the midfield and off the sort of outside run as well. Lipinski got a bit of work done there. Same with Pendle, same with both the Dacoses. And probably Darcy Cameron was the other one that really got off the leash on us. Otherwise, I think we did a reasonable job, but just couldn't quite hold their top line players. So, yeah, it's going to be an interesting review. I'm not as angry as last week. I'll probably take another view of the game, at least parts of it. I think that sort of mid second, third quarter, we had moments where we looked fairly good, moments where we didn't, but I think it's worth another view rather than just going through some of the stats. At least it won't be as painful as I've done in previous weeks. Alex Toru. Let's have a little chat about him. I think he did reasonable. Probably didn't set the world on fire. Did get his 6 marks. Did some good jobs there. Didn't quite get the intercept marks that I was hoping he would. If we quickly go, I think if we go to my stats, it should be in there. I think I've set that up in the past or not. Let's check. Intercept marks, it hasn't even come up yet. Some of these stats haven't come out yet. So they will just be something we're looking forward to seeing. Hopefully we get some nice numbers to look at. Let's have a quick look at the chat. Toru had some good numbers today, I agree. Good debut. He looks to have heaps of heart and passion. Completely agree with that. Hopefully see him inspiring others. I agree. I think he was a little bit overzealous when we moved him forward for that sort of last quarter or so, but not the worst thing from a first gamer. Nathan Church here. Well done, Saints. Sport your best, and it was a great game. I'm not going to say the last bit there because, geez, you frustrate me a lot. I love you all, but God, I really wanted to get the wood over you. I really wanted to surprise the league, First game, very solid. Can see the talent in the few touches he had. Yeah, definitely. Agreed. I think a lot of our kids have a lot to grow into. And I think that's where we're getting some of these calls to get, younger players in the side, because we see glimpses of a lot of talent, and then we don't quite get it for as long as we want. We don't quite get the results we want as much as we'd like, but there's a lot to like there in the future. Quickly getting back to the base level stats again, just going to quickly go over the kind of others that I haven't mentioned, I think Hunter Clark did quite a few good moments tonight. I liked his attack on the ball, got 4 clearances as well. We've said Wilson. Stocker played all right. Likewise with Owens. There's a few moments where you'd like Owens to convert, and hopefully we get on a bit more of a roll. It's been a bit of a running theme. I think I'm still going to be advocating for him being up the ground, but that's just what we want to do at the moment. Max Hall had some good moments. Ryan Burns, a couple of shockers, but a couple of good moments as well. I think we got more out of Butler this week, which was good to see. Again, not a ton of disposals, but I mean, Butler's not there to get a ton of disposals. He's there to get a ton of goals. 2's not bad. I'd like to see a bit more going forward, or at least that consistently, you know. Webster put his body on the line in a few moments, probably wasn't getting as much done as we'd like. Toby only came on at the very end. Mateus was unfortunate. Now, I don't know how many of you know this, but Mateus did his calf or has had some level of problem with his calf. And yeah, unfortunately is looking like he might have a little stint on the sideline. We'll see. We've got another comment here. Taru worth a second game. Definitely agree. We won a lot of stats that I didn't expect due to hunger and intensity of that match. Gave it a proper crack and a chance. I agree. I definitely agree. I think we did reasonable. So I think there's a lot to like. I would keep him back as much as we didn't get major improvement. Like we didn't get the run out of defense we'd like. He probably didn't get the intercepts we'd want to see. But I think keeping him back and trying that sort of three sort of person go for a little while is worth it. We've got Freo next week. They're pretty tall. We've got Hawthorn the week after, who can go pretty tall if they want. So I think it's worth it. We can swap Taru or maybe even Caminiti forward, depending on who's, doing better in the defensive line if we need. But yeah, I think there's a lot to like. I will agree here. Darcy had some great moments. Now I'm hoping you mean Darcy Wilson, because Darcy Cameron did have some great moments too. It was a bit frustrating. We've got Heath here. You look like you're walking around, mate. So I might hold up a second just till you find a place to kind of settle down. But yeah, Darcy did have some good moments. So I think it's worth keeping him back in the side. He took the worry I had with Darcy earlier in the year was he wasn't taking the opportunities that we wanted to see, and that kind of meant that we weren't getting the ball moving. I mean, overall for the team, it was difficult tonight. Darcy Wilson was involved in the transition, something that he showed a lot in the first year, and I think if we can get that sort of opportunity and keep him in that role, then yeah, we've got a fruitful second half of the year for Wilson. And saw him taking a couple of photos early in the match, so we'll keep an eye out, see if he's a good photographer too. Otherwise, yeah, it's a little bit frustrating with Mateus. Again, not getting the opportunity. It's becoming just the way the season's kind of going. It's becoming a situation of let's just try all the little things like that we haven't tried. Like give it a crack, and I think we did some of that tonight. We got people into roles that haven't been available, and yeah, I think we need to do more of that. Owens being one of them. Yeah, look, Cools, I don't disagree in a lot of ways. It's frustrating with his set shots. It truly is. So I don't know. I don't want to see him just consistently making mistakes and whatnot. But God, he's so good when he gets those marks. I just wish he was up the ground for it. Like, we need that transition mark anyway so much more often. I just think it's worth him being further up the ground. And yeah, I think that's one of the things that it would be good to try over this last sort of month or so, while we might not have Filippo or other. Yeah, this is couldn't agree more. Spewing, absolutely spewing. I think if we're gonna have Poe out, play Owens in the guts. We need something running through there. A little bit of long-term opportunities. Heath, it looks like you've stopped there, mate. Am I able to get a thumbs up? Are you ready to chat? Yep, easy. All right, mate. I'll chuck you on. Let's see if we can get this going. How you doing, Heath?
How are you?
Yeah, good, mate. Good. How are you?
Oh, that was I don't like losing to Collingwood, mate. I hate it. It's the most worst thing I've ever felt.
Yep. Just the because I didn't go in this week. I've been a bit sick, and I didn't want to. I've been on the mend, so I didn't want to risk getting more sick again. But yeah, some of the pre-game stuff on TV was just so like there was so much like 2010 stuff, and it's like we don't need this. Why are you showing this? Like, what's the point in all this? So yeah, man, I hate losing to Collingwood. It's it brings back bad memories. My editor is a Collingwood fan, and we haven't talked tonight. Despite we're going to drop a video this Monday. Got a few things to talk about, but the game was on, so we had to just not chat. So that's going to be a frustrating continuation of that conversation. But did you have any like positives, mate? Anybody you thought stood out well?
Well, I thought Naz was really good. 25 disposals. Looked like he was doing something. Wilkie was good too. Yeah, as you can hear, Collingwood fans in the background, not happy, very happy, just annoying the shit out of me.
Yeah, look, that's life, mate.
Oh.
Unfortunately, we don't always get the chocolates, but there's little silver linings in life. We can laugh at Collingwood. Laugh at Collingwood, not Collingwood. We can laugh at Carlton this week. So there's that little silver lining, but
Yeah.
it really doesn't mean much. Like in the grand scheme of things, I just want to win. Like I don't really care about like opposition, like who in the opposition loses. I just
I
want
reckon
to win,
we
mate.
showed like it was like the second half of every quarter we fell away because Collingwood went up that extra gear and we just couldn't handle them. Like even when it was like a few minutes to go, they were 22 points up. The crowd was getting into it, and it was so annoying to hear them singing the Collingwood chant. And it was just like we did all the good work, but we couldn't capitalize our opportunity to get close.
Yeah, I mean, you bang on. It was kind of in red time consistently that we lost those last few goals, and yeah, I mean, it's just I mean, it suggests that we are, young, right? Because we've talked that we have a lot of great running strength and whatnot, but I mean, if we are going to play the kids, we probably don't have. We're probably not going to have as much of those strengths shining through against the good sides, at least. So, I mean, all I can hope out of this is that Frio's off their game next week. Hawthorn the week after, and we can kind of continue this form. But yeah, it's real frustrating. We need to keep building.
Yeah.
And seems like it's a while off. Yeah, can't believe we beat them last year. Feel very far off it this year. That is correct, Nathan. Do agree.
It just shows the gap that the gap between Collingwood and us is so significant. Like that's who we want to aspire to be, like that side, but we're just not there yet. I feel like we don't have any any players who can like coach on the ground and who's just going to make us a better team in the future. Like we don't have that star players that can go like 2 gears up or 5 gears up, because Collingwood went up a lot of gears, and I thought we were going to do the same, but no, we didn't do that. Unfortunately, it just showed it was pretty much experience against youth.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you're right. Look, we've got something here. I love McRae's effort, but he shouldn't be in the mid kicking it into 50. When he's not kicking to opposition defenders, he's hitting the roofs. Look, you're not wrong, Michael, in some regards, mate. Like, I think he offers. It's kind of like Marshall in some regards. Like, and I think that was one thing I did see an improvement today. Marshall was consistently looking for a hand pass out of the contest. Good to see. And he didn't always do it because he had an opportunity to kick it with a little bit of thought, and perfect. That's what we wanted to see. But McRae is a little bit of a liability with his boot. He's if we're going to have him in the side, he needs to be extracting hands out, that sort of thing. I don't think we can really have him on the outside trying to hit somebody inside 50, at least not often. There's a few good ones. I mean, Sharman crossed it across the body to I believe it was Wilson. That was a great spot up inside 50. There was a few moments where we had some good ball movement, but a few moments where we just let ourselves down. Couple where just Collingwood's a good side. It's not as if they didn't have influence on the game themselves, right? So, frustrating, but not exactly unexpected. I kind of thought around 30 points, if we're playing not bad, should be around there. I think we played pretty well tonight, and I think it forced Collingwood to play well as well, and still ended up being about 30. So that's life, unfortunately.
Well, you can't really do much when it's a young side against a experienced side. I mean, Collingwood have been there, done that. They know what it takes. I don't know how long we're off, or how far we're going to get to before we're good. But it's like we're showing improvement, but it's frustrating to see that we do so much work and then we just let it go to waste. We were, what was it, 9 points within Collingwood, and then they let. It's just like when they needed to, Collingwood just went up a gear, and we couldn't follow them, which is not good. But at least we did better than North Melbourne against Collingwood, which is pretty good.
That is true. I mean, look, it's not as if this will be a bit of a frustrating review on my end, because there'll be positives. There'll be a lot of positives, particularly if you're looking for moments and plays, right? There was a lot of things we were trying to do that were correct that we didn't quite pull off. Quite a few that we did pull off, which was good to see. I think a lot of the general ball movement was on the better end of what we can do. But it still kind of shows it shows two things for me, but looking at this week to last week and what this week means in general. Last week to this week, it's that chasm that's been mentioned a few times, right? Like it's just huge. And then it's also the other side of the coin, right? We are aiming for a premiership. So it's not even just being our best. Our best, if we are all at our very best, say all these guys were peak career, maybe it's still not good enough. Like, we don't know. Like, I'm guessing, we get all these guys peak of their career. We're probably pushing pretty close, right? But that's just not how life is. We've got a lot of time we've got a lot of things to work on with hopefully some time up our sleeve based on, people staying around and whatnot. But yeah, we'll see. feels like we still need a lot to get where we want to go. So, Heath, I suppose. What do you think? Do you think we've got? I mean, I think of Damien Hardwick at the Suns, right? He walked in, said, I think I've got, I think it was 75, 80% of my premiership list here. What sort of percentage of the premiership list do you think we have? Like, if we're going to put a proper crack in?
I'd probably say about percentage of the premiership list. Probably 60 to 65% premiership list, but we have a lot of role players, and we need to. I think it's our bottom 10 to however many we have on the list that are just. I don't know. We need to do some aggressive things in the off season with our list, because you got to look through the players and be like, okay, this is who's going to take us to the next level, and this is who's going to hold us back, and we're just going to have to be like ruthless if we want to do anything, because it's suffering and it's a pain, and I do not like it.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going to share a tab really quickly, so we're going to make sure that this is up on stage. So give me a second. How I got this right? Add to stage. There we go. So we're going to have a quick look at St Kilda's list, and just we kind of know the age of a lot of people, but want to have a general look over the list, right? So I'd say anybody about 28 or so and older, we need to consider, are they really, like, are we going to get it done by the time they're sort of 31, 32? So in 3 to 4 years, right? So I think if we start at the bottom, Cordy's unlikely to be in that group. Butler potentially could. Dougal's unlikely. Wilkie probably could. If this is year 4, right? We're going around year 4. We're trying to get actually premiership. Steele maybe. I think probably could stick around till about 33, roughly. Marshall, probably about that age as well before he really falls off the cliff. Sinclair, 34. He's probably starting to push the end of his life cycle. Jack McRae would be similar. Mason Wood, unlikely to play to 35. Brad Hill, similar. Jimmy Webster, similar. So we've got maybe Sinclair, Roma, Steele, Wilkie, maybe a couple of others from that group that could kind of be around in 4 years. I don't know how many of them I'd consider premiership sides. Sinclair, Wilkie probably could. Maybe Roma and Steele probably could be in premiership sides with enough support around them. And then we're kind of looking at that bracket below, right? From 28 down. And then we've got a long list of players here. I think if we just quickly go through them, Naz looks like he could be a gun. He's already showing absolute signs of that. Windhager has moments where he looks quite good. Mitch has moments where he looks quite good. Caminiti, bit hit and miss, but he's starting to warm into the fullback role. Higgins, probably should have said him at the start, but he probably could be involved in something. Mateus, probably, yeah. Keeler, maybe. Garcia, Wilson, yeah, maybe, probably. So we've got, so let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, let's say 7, 8, somewhere around 14, 15 players right now that could probably be around in like 3, 4 years and be in a really good side. I think we are going to need to hit the draft a little bit, and we're going to need to bring in players. TDK is going to be quite important to get if we can. Marshall's obviously a bit older. I think we need that sort of second key forward to stand out at some point, and we need to fix this midfield because I can't see it working otherwise. Yeah. I don't know. Would you say we've got more than say? And if it's say 15, right? 15 out of a list of 38, and 15 is probably being a bit generous. Like we're probably closer to 12. Like, yeah, we got a bit to go. Like, yeah, I think we've got a lot of things that could work out. Tora looks great in some regards, and hopefully just grows match on match. But yeah, it's a little bit worried about how far our list is off the premiership, because I thought we were a bit closer than where I think we are at this point in the year. The start of the year, I kind of saw the light a bit better. That being said, we haven't had Pooh playing all year. We haven't had King playing all year. Those two probably make a bit of a difference. But yeah, it's been tough one.
Yeah, I thought Mason Wood was pretty good. Like, because I was at the game in person. Like, Mason was really good. He presented up well. He did what he needed to do. Naz was good. Winhager did a good job on Dacos, but he still got off the chain. 21, but he was just, yeah, I thought Winhager did good, but it's just we need more support around our players because it's like we're not going to get anywhere. Like, don't get me wrong, I liked how we were competitive for, I'd say, about nearly 85% of that game. If we take our chances, we get within striking distance. I think we troubled Collingwood for a lot of that game. It's just they were too good in the late moments, and like I said, went up a gear. That's pretty much what it came down to.
Yeah, and that's what I worry about. It's like, yes, we're going to have a gear that we grow into, but I just worry about how far off that growth is, because we are kind of, we've got this kind of duality of the list. There's some older players that are kind of our absolute staples. There's some that are, I wouldn't say filling a spot, but like when they're good, they're obviously a lot better than the kids. But when they're not, the gap isn't that big, and like that's when it's like, yeah, I feel like we might have another. As much as like I liked the performance tonight, it just because we didn't have that gear to go to, and obviously Collingwood's near the top level of premiership sort of quality, but yeah, it makes me wonder, how far are we off in terms of a premiership sort of list?
Yeah, I think we're pretty far off a premiership. If I was judging our year and basically it didn't help that we had Filippo go down before the game. That really didn't help as well.
Yep. Yeah. I feel like that's been our year, man. Like, it's just been every time we think and we're like getting ready to hit the strides, like one of the main things we've been looking forward to just all unraveled. And it's like, it's happened with Philippa like a couple times now. It's happened with King. Yeah, I feel like we just need a little bit of a relief. Like, we need a game where we just smash them, and everybody kind of goes, all right, well, this is what St Kilda could be in the future, right? And I think we haven't quite gotten that this year. Like, we got it a little bit against Richmond, but we all kind of hoped it would happen anyway against Richmond, right? So yeah, I don't know. I feel like we need a game to just get off the leash and get a little bit of the monkey off the back, and we just haven't had that. So Yeah, frustrated. Very frustrated. Well, we lost Heath. I thought that might happen. He did kind of. He did go still for a little while there. Yeah, look, this has been a frustrating one. I don't know what to think. I don't think we played particularly bad, but yeah, we need that like little more of a step up from Wilson. We need Poe to actually get out there. Yeah, we just need a little bit more from our guys, and then maybe we can get this sort of thing rolling. But yeah, it just hasn't worked this year. Just hasn't worked. I don't know what to say. All right. Well, give us your thoughts in the chat because I think I'm going to wrap it up pretty soon. I feel like I'm just, I feel like I'm just a little bit despondent. Got another comment here. Hunter Clark's terrible skills turns it over more often than not. Yeah, Hill's another same problem. Someone needs to teach Owens how to kick properly or full technique. Look, these are because people have an issue with like Burns. I guess I'll say for a while I've been on like a Hunter Clark hater. I guess some people would call me, but it's because there's so much potential and he just doesn't get it to work out, and I feel like that's our team so often, and it's so frustrating because Hunter, when he does the right things, he does some great things. But when he doesn't, he's trying to hit the obvious pass and he turns it over. And it's like, for God's sakes, boys. And it's not just him. And that's where I've kind of learned to forgive him because it's not just him. It's the whole team. Like, they all do it. And it's an element of like, it's mental issues. Like it's 100% mental issues because I've seen these guys tear it up like majority of the time of matches. They've all had matches where they've torn it up, but they don't do it consistently because like mental. I'm guessing, right? Because like there's no other real explanation. It's like there's a mental hurdle or like what? Like an injury that we don't know about? Maybe. But those sort of things kind of get leaked to the press these days. Like for me, it's the boys just they seem to not have like some of the hunger, some of them, and like it's really frustrating because like I don't think it's all of them. I think it's a lot more like I think it's a lot more I think it's a lot more like general issues across the board because I don't know what to like put it like down to. Like there's got to be some sort of hurdle mentally that it just doesn't work because like Hunter's a little bit frustrating with his kicking. Burns is a little bit frustrating with like his kicking as well, but it's not. I feel like if they weren't under so much pressure, they just wouldn't kick as badly, and a lot of that's just mental, right? Like there's so much inferred pressure, and I wonder if it's like just being at the game or things outside of it. That being said, we have got a question here that's a bit nicer. I thought he played well. I thought Taru played reasonably well. I did want to see him break the intercept mark record, which didn't do that. Unfortunate. But I think he's definitely worth pursuing, particularly for the rest of the year. I'm a big fan of playing the kids, and I think it's basically time to do that. I think he's one that, hopefully takes over Battle's role by end of the year, right? And then I'm hoping that Caminiti can take over Dougal's role. So we've got a similar sort of backline by the end of the year that we had at the end of last year, and hopefully just younger and with more potential. But yeah, I think he played well. All things considered, didn't have a monster game. Absolutely got hang time on him. That kid can he floats. I've seen like a bunch of like highlights from Sandy, but haven't really spent much time watching it. And yeah, he floats. Like, gets an extra, I don't know, second on everybody else. So yeah, I can't wait till he finds his legs. He looked a little bit like a giraffe out there, just kind of a little bit flying for things he probably didn't need to. But once he kind of locks his eye in and whatnot, which, all things, all reports say he can do it at lower levels. I figure it won't take too long to get that sort of ability at AFL level. And yeah, I'm excited to see what that might mean. Otherwise, yeah, look, Heath, I've noticed you are back here, mate, and it's good to see you again. I think we might wrap it up pretty soon. I might take a couple of questions if there's any through the chat, but kind of going to start working on to sort of final thoughts here. We'll go back to kind of the player tab. So share this tab and then actually get it up on the screen. All right. We'll start from bottom, go to the top. And yeah, Matthias, really upsetting. I hope it's nothing big. I hope it's just cautiousness, that the year's basically done and no need to risk longer term problems. I hope that's it. We'll see. Toby Travalia didn't get a lot of time. Would have liked to have seen him get a bit more time on ground, but we did look competitive for large parts of it. So I can understand the hesitancy. Jimmy Webster, not really what you'd want from Webster in a lot of regards. Not the worst night, but yeah, kind of, not the best night either. Higo is probably in a similar category. Did get 2 goal assists, which is good to see, but probably not a night he'd think about often in the future. Isaac Keeler, 8 disposals. Looked all right at moments. Again, he feels like a longer-term project, but one that's shown enough to just pursue, let him play. Do like it that he got a few hit-outs. Good to see him in the ruck. I do think that pitch hitting in the ruck long-term is going to be where we see him. Dan Butler came back with a bit of form. Not as much as his outing against the D's, but not bad. Taru, reasonable match, 6 marks. Had a little blue with his ball movement across the back, the face of goal. He'll want to cut that out, otherwise Ross will get it in his ear pretty quickly. Sharman, great goal from deep. He does look like he's a little bit hampered. I think he's struggling with the extra attention this year, particularly as he's almost the number 1 target. So yeah, I can't fault him. He did also get 2 goal assists, so that's not bad. But would like to see more from him. Reasonable match nonetheless. Ryan Burns. I'm not much of a Ryan Burns hater, though I know some are. 5 tackles is a reasonable outing. Yeah, there was a couple of turnovers. There was some good ball movement in there as well. There's a couple of times he got to it where we just needed somebody being there, and he was in the right space at the right time. And I think that's what I like about Burns. He does have an ability to read the play. It's kind of a bit of an intangible, not really a stat so much, but he's in the right place often. Caminiti, I didn't mind. I know that Naz had an issue with that spoil at the end. But yeah, he played majority of the match well. I would also say that Hall played majority of the match well. 12 disposals, 1 goal, 1. Yeah, not too bad there. I think Owens was good in patches. Probably not the kind of match we'd want from Owens. We probably want him getting about 20 plus disposals. It's a bit. I feel like he's wasted as a forward. We really need to have Sharman in the third key toll role. Owens maybe can go down there and pinch hit occasionally, but it'd be 2 people to help Sharman, King and somebody else, probably Keeler at this point, and then Owens in the mids, maybe swapping out, going down to help out in the forward line when needed, but maybe even just resting there sometimes, right? We can take somebody off the ground, rest Owens forward. So I think there's just got to be more flexibility with him. Stocker played all right, had a few blues. Not his best game, not his worst game. Darcy came back well. Really liked his game tonight. I think if we can get him, if we can get the ball in his hands more and he continued to make good decisions with that, yeah, we'll see better results longer term. Marcus is really showing that he can lock down. And I think at this point, just keep doing that. If we can start to see games where he breaks out as well, awesome. But look, we just need people to settle into roles at this point, particularly on the younger side. Mason Wood played all right. Got his hands up forward a lot. Got 3 goals, 1. There's a few moments where I thought he probably could have stuck the hands a little bit better. When you're getting 7 marks, I'm probably being a little bit pedantic. Hunter Clark played all right again. I think his 4 clearances really shone through. He didn't get out as much as I'd like to see him, but yeah, he's almost, as was mentioned earlier, probably not always the best user out with the football, with time and space. So I think the less he thinks about what he does and just gets it onto the boot to the person he can see or hand pass it to them, probably the better. Sinclair was very quiet until the last quarter. And yeah, probably getting the results we wanted there in some regards in the last, but just didn't too much until then. Jack Steele, when he does things right, he does them right. Don't know if he does them enough. That's probably my query on Steele these days. Roma. Now, I did notice a question. I was going to just wait until it kind of came about, but what was my thoughts on Rowan's game? Roma didn't look great in some regards. He had moments where he looked all right, but he let Cameron get off him in that first quarter. The start of the second, he was okay. Again, in the third, he kind of started getting there, but I mean, 1 goal, 1 is not bad sitting forward. I think him and Keeler, I'd love for them to be just fighting it out for that second, like, ruck role, and having that proper ruck. So I'm hoping we can keep Roma next year and get TDK, obviously, and really try Roma forward. I think that's where we potentially could make it work. We've seen it work in the past. I'm hoping it works again in the future, because I don't think Roma can be a full-time ruck for too much longer. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Wilkie played all right. Kind of your stock standard Wilkie game. Would honestly like it in his hands less. When I see Wilkie with 20 disposals in a match, I'm not always thinking we're going to win. Likewise, Brad had some great moments, but had some shockers. It's kind of becoming the story with Brad. And I mean, I've always defended him, but it is hard to when he's kind of doing similar mistakes week on week. Now, part of me thinks he's being asked to do those kicks, right? And they are the more difficult kicks in a lot of regards. So I don't know if we have a ton better realistically. And at this point, he maybe provides more than we could find elsewhere. I'm not sure that we'd get a ton more from anybody in the twos. I mean, we've all kind of said it with Jones. We're probably not really expecting him a ton going forward. I mean, last second in was Ryan Burns that did okay. Probably didn't do as good as Hill. So, yeah, I mean, in some regards, while I think Hill's got some improvement in him, he's probably not at the peak of his career right now. I don't know if we've got much better outside because I'm just not sure who we'd play there at this point. So a little bit of worries there in terms of our outside run. Really hoped Toby would be able to kind of step into that role. I feel like he's kind of still behind Burns and a few others. Yeah, it just feels like that's the case. Hopefully that's not the case next year, but it does feel like the case this year. Jack McRae, probably his best outing for us in a little while. Still, as others have mentioned, not great with ball in hand. The kicks are probably more the issue than the hand passes, but we've got the second best at 5 clearances to his 10. So he did the work of both Marcus Windhager and Jack Steele by himself. And similar with meters gained. Now, effective meters might be a different story, but yeah, I mean, we just need, in some regards, getting the ball forward and then getting it to ground if we're not going to take the contested mark, right? So, yeah, improvements across a few lines. Probably not a good match as a Saints fan, but not one I'm angry about. So that's it for me, basically. If you've got any final questions, feel free to shoot them in. We'll go over some more in-depth stats on the SaintsTV channel, but I've also got a video coming out on Monday. I've been talking about it for a while. Might even give you a little bit of a sneak preview. Let's do that. So let me pull it up. Where did I put it? So we've got this. Let's hide this, and y'all can like slam me for using Canva. So this is what. Oh, is it going to work? There we go. This is what is going to be coming out Monday. Disposal efficiency is wrong. Going to essentially have a chat with Liam Crowhurst and yeah, kind of go over why that is, what some better metrics are. And yeah, it should be coming out Monday, I think, lunchtime, midday, Australian Eastern Standard. So yeah, that'll be coming out pretty soon. James and I will be jumping on a chat. He is a Collingwood fan. He is my editor, and hopefully we don't talk about the footy, or we only talk about the video of about the footy, and not the match. Anyway, that's about it. I know I'm not angry this week, not as much as last week, that's for sure. But not happy with the results. Yeah, kind of got beaten in some ways we knew we might, but we at least gave it a solid crack in a lot of regards. So fairly happy. I'm going to leave it there. Thank you for popping in and saying hello. And yeah, come back next week. We'll try and actually remember to put out the link earlier in the week this time. So you can maybe do your notifying buttons, whatever it is. I forget half the things that YouTube wants you to do. speaking of, if you can give us a like wherever the thing is, that'd be great. YouTube likes it when you like my stuff. I don't know. But yeah, that's about it. Keep an eye out for a video on Monday, and keep an eye out for the video on Saints TV on Tuesday. And I'll see you soon. Cheers.